Yeah, come and take a look at the snow. Bright white as far as your eyesight goes. Come and take a look at the fields of snow. I'll just get my coat, then we're good to go. Come and take a look at the lake. Let's have a quick skate before it gets late. Come and take a look at the frozen lake. Put your clothes on, mate, don't make that mistake. Happy Christmas.
Greetings, holiday shoppers. There are now only 70 shopping days left until Christmas Day, and I believe you know what that means. It's time for Christmas Creeps! Your one-stop shop for holiday madness all year round. And hello, I am Count Wade.
Oh, Jesus. Okay, I'm back, y'all. Hey, I'm Joseph Wade for Christmas Creeps. Joining me tonight on this merry jaunt into Halloween cinema, we have Johnny Five, the human robot.
You're Count Vader, so you're Count Dooku and Darth Vader, like OC character?
Yes.
Do not steal. Copyright?
TM, do not steal. He's also a Muppet, so I get that going for me, too. And Mr. Bradford is here as well. Brad? Punish. Welcome.
Brad has to shit.
We can let you. We can pause the podcast and let you go take care of that if you need. Oh, John, get the fire. I think something's wrong with Brad.
I got some Miralax.
That'll work.
Fire.
Oh, that's so much better. Thank you. Thank you. You're not wrong. I had some habanero salsa yesterday and just tore me up. Hi guys.
Get you coming and going, huh?
Yes, indeed.
Oh my God. Well, ladies and gents, the spooky voice at the beginning of the podcast should let you know that we are now in Halloween mode. So we here at Christmas Creeps are going home for the horror days.
Hooray!
Yay! It's my second favorite time of year, right behind the obvious one, which is Christmas. So we're in the land of holiday horror movies, which is a very small niche, but one that there only seems to be like two modes of that we've kind of encountered, which is like you've got your slasher holiday movies and your monster holiday movies, and there's really no in between. But tonight we will be discussing the 2017 slasher film Better Watch Out, and that's going to be definitely a thing that we're going to have to discuss tonight. But first, this is a segment we haven't done in quite a long time because we honestly haven't needed to, but we have to discuss some trailer trash. John, what do you got for us?
Are you talking about that Kurt Russell thing we watched? Backdraft?
Right, I was going to throw it to you and let you introduce that, but if you don't want to, I'll take it back.
I honestly don't remember what it's called. Christmas Chronicle?
The Christmas Chronicles, yes.
It's a thing on Netflix, and it starts out, when you watch the trailer, it starts out being, what if Santa, but real? And then the trailer goes on for about another 90 seconds, and then, like, Alvin's weird hillbilly cousins from a Rob Zombie Alvin and the Chipmunks movie show up at the end of the trailer.
Yeah, they're like, I guess they're like Santa's elves. Is that really what they are? Is Santa's elves?
It's literally the only explanation that makes sense.
But yeah, they look like Alvin and the Chipmunks mated with the troll dolls, and it's just horrifying. It's a horrifying crossbreed that should not exist on this or any other plane of existence. But it's a happy holiday film about Kurt Russell being Santa Claus. It's not. I guess that's all there is to it, really. I don't really know what the plot is at this point, but it's coming out in November. So if they've got a second trailer, it better drop any day now.
And when the trailer starts, it name drops the first Harry Potter movie and Home Alone, which is trying to make you think that it's Chris Columbus involved, but as far as I know, he is nowhere near this.
Yeah, because his name's not in the credits on IMDb anywhere.
Someone's playing a trick on someone.
Yeah, this is a dark prank.
I think it's Netflix.
Let's see here.
From the caterer who brought you Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
From the craft services
from the best
that
boy
brought
of
you
Home
Home
Alone
Alone
comes the Christmas Chronicles. Yeah, we're not entirely sure who involved with this movie also was involved with Harry Potter and Home Alone, but apparently it's somebody. And
It's kind of like those shitty Setzer and Freebird movies. I don't remember which one, or it was some movie like that, where the poster literally said, "From 2 of the 6 guys who brought you Scary Movie."
Yeah, or like basically any movie Judd Apatow produced in the last 10 years is the guy who brought you Knocked Up.
From the leftover turkey sandwich from the craft services table from Home Alone 3 comes the Christmas Chronicles.
There you have it, yeah. But yeah, we're deep into the Halloween season at this point. So, hey, let's talk about some holiday slasher films. Why don't we?
Okay.
Gentlemen.
I heard Black Christmas is pretty good, but we didn't watch that.
No, and we might next time or maybe down the road a ways, but no, tonight we decided to dip into the world of indie directed video cinema with 2017's Better Watch Out, which this is one that I brought to our attention for better or worse, solely because I found it at the thrift store, opened it up, and the actual like image art on the DVD is a Christmas wreath made of knives. And
better watch out, that thing is sharp.
I am nothing if not a sucker for a stupid gimmick, and boy oh boy did that work on me.
Well, yeah, I was about to say, sharp is a word you could use. Edgy might be a better word.
Yeah.
On the cutting edge of DTV slashers, yes.
So boy howdy, this is
one might even say this is a pointed satire of a kind.
All right.
I can keep going.
I would not say that because
Jonathan's sharpening his knives.
Yeah. I just want to say there's a reason I've not seen Funny Games, and it's because I really don't. I know I have a lot. I know I have a lot of time in my life to fucking waste because I record this podcast. Obviously, I record this podcast, so my time isn't that valuable. I still am not going to waste my time watching a fucking Michael Haneke movie.
Can you
even
kind of
more so?
Wait, hang on. Can you kind of unpack that a little bit? Just because I know, we've talked about Michael Haneke on this podcast before, and I feel like it might warrant a little explanation for like who he is and what he does.
Okay, there are 2 Michael Haneke movies. I've seen one, and it was okay, but it pissed me off, and I refuse to watch the other. The one I've seen is Cachet, and I refuse to watch Funny Games.
Okay.
Because Michael Haneke is a guy who basically makes movies where the entire point of the movie is, haha, bet you feel bad about watching that. And it's like, well, why the fuck did you make it then, dipshit?
I don't even know what you're talking about, John.
Anyway, this movie that I'm going to straight up say up front, I watched about 45 minutes of it and turned it off, and I absolutely categorically refused to finish it. I know how it ends. I don't need to spend the time. And this movie is basically Funny Games without the morality, which is good, but also without any of the things that made like Funny Games memorable.
Yeah, there's definitely a twist or a
Christmas.
turn that happens. There's definitely a twist or a turn that happens, at the end of the first act, and then once that kind of takes hold, that's pretty much the whole rest of the film. Like,
You've seen it.
We've seen it. We've seen this before, and so I'm gonna have to lay it out here right now. So J5 hated this movie. And Brad, I know, really loved this movie.
Well, let's not say really loved, but I enjoyed it for what it was.
And I'm firmly kind of like in between there. I'm kind of half and half on this movie, so I feel like this is going to be an interesting conversation.
Maybe I'm just really easy to please because I went in with absolutely zero expectations, per my common experience from doing this show with you guys. I don't really enjoy horror. I'm going to put that out there. And so Home for the HorrorDays can be a little bit of a chore for me sometimes. And this, I don't know. I think the only reason that I enjoyed it as much as I did is because it was not, I didn't read a plot synopsis. I didn't know anything about it. I watched the trailer, and the trailer definitely doesn't reveal what's going on.
The trailer basically shows you like parts of the first 20 minutes of the movie, I'm going to guess.
Yeah, pretty well. It does that, but also cuts in later parts, but kind of buries the whole central twist.
Yeah.
Should we just get it out there. Okay, spoiler alert, if you're planning on watching
Don't.
this
So
movie...
hang on. Let's do this. Let's say if you're really interested in watching Better Watch Out, you can go check it out. Pause the podcast.
You better watch out.
You better watch it. No, pause the podcast. Go check it out real quick, and then we're gonna take a quick break. And then when we come back, we will talk all spoilers about this movie. So we'll just lay it out on Front Street after a quick break.
It's Breaking Mayberry, starring Martin Schneider and little Danny Ludwig. Also featuring The Andy Griffith Show. Hi everybody, I'm Marty.
I'm Dan.
We're the hosts of Breaking Mayberry, a podcast dedicated to the show that TBS airs when the Atlanta Braves have a rain delay.
I know what you're thinking. Why should I care about the show that my grandparents fall asleep to? The answer? It's buck wild.
Topics discussed on this show include beauty contests,
Child abduction.
voter suppression,
The finer points of cutting hair.
the plays of Shakespeare,
Crazed shotgun-wielding hillbillies.
gun control. No, we're serious about that. Literal gun control.
Roving bands of gossiping old women.
All of this and more happens on the Andy Griffith Show and is talked about by us with special guests.
Do you want to hear these events described and then yelled about?
So listen to us on Breaking Mayberry. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, or wherever you get your podcasts.
And we're back.
A dinosaur story. So the central thing you need to know about Better Watch Out, spoiler alert, is that the little shitlord main character is actually the villain. There you go.
So we have to back up and say the premise of the film. There's a 12-year-old kid and his babysitter, and she's babysitting him one last time before she moves out of town forever. And she's 17 and he's 12, and he thinks like now's the time I'm gonna hit on her and make my move, and this is gonna be great. And about 10 minutes into the film, intruders break into the house, and they hide, they do all their planning and scheming of how we're gonna get these guys out of the house. And then once it's revealed that the intruder is in fact the kid's best friend, the game is up. The kid knocks her down the stairs, and she wakes up tied to a chair.
Yes.
And then what ensues is what ensues is an hour of
What ensues is 10 Cloverfield Lane.
kind of. It's an hour of cat and mouse games played by a psychotic 12-year-old trying to force himself onto just this poor innocent young woman. And it's I'm not gonna lie, it's very disturbing in a certain hashtag Me Too kind of way.
I want to kind of throw up a Phoenix Wright objection here about the poor innocent thing, because of the way the movie introduces her, I don't think you're supposed to like her.
Yeah, but you're not supposed to like the kid.
I know.
Even
you're not,
more.
I know. But what I'm saying is, the movie kind of goes out of its way to paint her at the very start as a character where you're just like, oh, she's gonna get fucking stabbed. And it doesn't need to do that because, you know, the screenwriter has free will. He can do what he wants. But he goes for this weird horror trope of setting her up to be a character that you're going to be like in a movie like your Fridays the 13th or your Nightmare on Elm Street. You know, you hate half of the non-murderer characters. And you're just like, oh, I can't wait for them to get their fucking head chopped off.
Or blowing his nose. So I think the reason that they do that is to try and subvert it. But I mean, the main reason that I liked the central sort of twist of this is because there's not a single likable 12-year-old character in the entire world, so why not just make him a villain? So the character that Luke reminds me most of is actually Dennis Reynolds from Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Go on.
Because Dennis is a complete sociopath who... in Always Sunny, he's just like one step away from being a serial killer and might already be a serial killer. And this is just that taken to its logical conclusion. Joe, if you weren't here for the moment I said it, I think the main reason that I enjoyed the central twist of this film is that nobody has ever written a likable 12-year-old character a likable white male 12-year-old character, so you might as well just make him the villain, because then you can at least cheer for his eventual demise or downfall. Because let me tell you, if he ended up being a central character who was actually trying to escape, a slasher, I would not be into it. I wouldn't have liked it, because I don't care about this little kid.
I will go ahead and tell you right now, like, after that first twist happened, I was still waiting for a second twist where actual home invaders were going to break into the fucking house.
You would think that, but then he slaps her and she falls down the stairs.
I'm saying even after that, like 30 minutes after that, I was still expecting, like, all right, something even worse is going to happen to these people. And then that never comes, because the kid keeps, like, amping up his manipulations and his awful weird games.
No, and that's, I don't know. I'm gushing.
I was really expecting, like, the girl's ex-boyfriend that he intentionally, like, lures to the house to be the one to, like, really fuck shit up and break in and just start wrecking the place. But
yeah,
especially considering it's the guy, it's like that weirdo guy from Stranger Things 2. I was really expecting him to play a bigger part, but then he didn't.
But I appreciate the movie for not doing that, because that's what you expected.
No, we're not going to give movies credits for subverting expectations. We're not going to give fucking Rian Johnson any cookies here.
But, like, let's not invoke the name of Rian Johnson every time somebody subverts expectations. Like, fuck that.
Okay.
Like,
we're invoking it when somebody.
No, we're not talking about Rian Johnson on this podcast.
Let me walk back that comment a little bit and say that I appreciated the movie not giving a chance for Luke to be redeemed or become a victim or anything like that, because I just hated that character so much, and he's so hateable as a villain. He's a little shit, and I don't know. I think he's an all right villain. That's all I'm trying to say.
But then let's talk about his best friend Garrett, who I thought was really going to be more of the shittier character of the two, and he kind of isn't.
No, but he isn't.
Not for lack of trying.
He has a redemptive arc.
I mean, here's just what I'll say. When you zig instead of zag, but you end up just zigging into the toilet, you don't get any points for zigging instead of zagging.
Okay. Yeah, but my point is it would have cheapened everything that it had done before if it went with the predictable thing where, oh no, something worse ends up happening, and now, they both have to team up together even though he stabbed her in the back, kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
It would cheapen it so much, and they don't do that.
To me, that's not the predictable thing, though. To me, that would be just more fucking twists for the sake of twists.
Yeah, I mean, after a certain point, sure. But I feel like this movie needed one more twist like that, because once she gets tied to that chair, that's pretty much the rest of the film. So, but like I said, like once Ashley gets tied to that chair, that's pretty much the rest of the film. Like there's not much in the way of like nuanced or plot development or.
No, it's just basically fucked up things happen, and you're cheering for Ashley to get one up over him and escape, right. Which she doesn't, which is kind of fucked up.
Okay, let's go over the scene where she's introduced real quick first to kind of explain where I'm coming at of why I say that you're not. If they're trying to make her be like the likable character, they fucked up from Jump Street. Okay, and the way they introduce her is they show her driving her car while on her phone, not on speakerphone, not on headphones, literally just on her phone, like yelling at her mom about how, I'm not going to do the thing I promised I'd do because, no, I'm not going to my boyfriend's. I'm going over to babysit, and then my boyfriend's going to show up there. Wink, wink, wink. And then she's also fumbling around with these fucking headphones the entire time too. Like she's just being the worst, horrible teen driver you've ever seen. And then she nearly kills a cat, and then a bunch of carolers like give her the stink eye. And it's like, you're trying to paint her as like a character that we're supposed to sympathize with, and I don't know if this is some like, her character trait is she's awkward and that makes her likable type Mary Sue bullshit, but it just makes her an asshole.
It just makes her a teen. All teens are assholes, but the thing is that they don't have to paint her as the more likable character, because the other character is such a terrible shit of a human being that they don't even have to put in that effort.
Right. The pure fact that she's the girl in the horror movie makes her, the quote unquote likable character. And
I know, but with that opening scene, it just makes me think, well, I hope the house burns down and that's who wins.
Well, I hope the house burns down, but it's more because Virginia Madsen and Patrick Warburton are the worst parents ever. Let's talk about them for a minute.
That's some weird stuff.
I mean, as bad as the kids are, like mom and dad are kind of actually dad's okay. I'm okay with dad.
Dad's all right, but I think they're kind of, that's the angle that they were trying to pull, is like, yeah, fucked up parents lead to fucked up kids kind of situation, which is a gross oversimplification of
absolutely.
Mental illness, which is actually one of the more, well, there are a lot of problematic parts of this movie, but that one's
this movie was made in 2016, not in 2017 or 2018, is a very important thing to note in terms of, like, I don't really want to say like cultural relativism, but this movie does kind of exist before Me Too existed.
It does, yeah.
And that's an important thing to note because good God, this was so fucking uncomfortable.
Yeah, there were some very uncomfortable parts of this movie.
Should we actually lay out what the fuck we're talking about? Because
go ahead.
No,
well, go ahead. Can I at least like cash out like the mom and dad thing real quick?
Yeah.
Because so Virginia Madsen is the mom, and she is just so completely dismissive of everybody and everything. Like, she hates the Christmas music that dad's playing. She hates his decorations. She's straight up like accuses him of being gay for wanting his own decorations on the tree, and she's just the most hateful person. And he just kind of rolls with it, like he's okay with it for some reason. But then she
hates being in this movie.
Yeah, but then you come to find out that like the whole reason all of this is happening anyway, like the way Ashley like gets out of the film is because she realizes that he's doing this for attention because his mom's not paying him any attention anymore. And once she stops like giving him that attention, he basically cuts her out of the film, literally. The film kind of basically, what's the word?
Sucks.
The film confirms that, but like the end, like when the kid like wakes up from pretending to be asleep and like he's in his mom's arms and she's just like rocking him back and forth, and he's like, "This is what I wanted the whole time," and it's just
so.
Ugh.
It tries, and I would say fails, to try to bring up sort of like an Oedipal angle with like the fetal sounds and shit like that.
At the same time, though, she's not like completely ignorance the wrong word, but she doesn't completely ignore him and she's not dismissive of him. But she is like she is a helicopter parent, both instances she's hovering and also that she's way the fuck up in the air. Because she's like, she notices all these fucking problems and shit that she perceives with him, but her solution is just, we'll just throw this outside thing that's not my direct intervention at it.
Right, and we also come to find out that like she is basically on oxys the whole time, because we see Garrett like raiding her stash of her medical. He's raiding her like pill cabinet, and we find out later like he's been taking all of her oxys. So her solution is drugs and alcohol, not for him but for herself.
The more we talk about this movie, the less I'm liking it. I think the afterglow of, hey, that wasn't as bad as I expected it to be is wearing off.
I'm sorry, Brad.
No, you shouldn't apologize. I think it's fine. That way I don't have to feel bad about like kind of liking this movie, because there are problems.
Yeah, there are problems, but there's also plenty worth talking about.
Yes.
So, like, John, you wanted to move on from this, I think.
I think we need to actually set up what the fuck we're talking about.
Okay.
Especially in relation to all of the Me Too references.
Okay, sure.
Mm-hmm.
Because the way this starts out is you have, the kids there with his friend, and they are reading some horrible, like, PUA bullshit article.
Like Return of Kings or some shit like that. Something that we would have read on our old podcast.
Yeah, like some shit that uses like the word kino unironically, basically.
Giving you the complete reference, we would be reading this to make fun of it and dunk on it, not reading it seriously, by the way.
No, not actually taking tips from it. Yeah.
It's to give you context.
It's some pickup article shit that's just pickup artist article that's just like, watch a scary movie, that'll get her to fuck you.
It activates hormones in the brain that are similar to it's science. That kind of article.
Yeah, and it's just so disgusting. And then we see him like enacted in action and just
yeah, and like So at the beginning, we have it set up that there's this 12-year-old kid who wants to fuck a 17-year-old babysitter. Right. It's not even like a hidden motivation. It's text, it's not subtext.
Right. It's right there on Front Street.
So then she comes over and they like get drunk and start watching a horror movie. And she like jumps and like grabs his hand and he's like, "Oh, it's working now. Now my face is descending on your face." Like
now I'm going to use this as an excuse to sexually assault you. Wah.
Which reminded me of the Sure thing of just like, okay, I've said the line, now we're making out, right?
Right, like here's hoop number 1, I'm jumping through it. Okay, here's hoop number 2, I'm jumping through that. Okay, here's the finish line, let me just go for it. And no.
Yeah. It's as terrible as it is, it kind of feels like it would be in line with a 12-year-old's understanding of how this works.
Yeah.
Where it's like, Anyways, not to justify it, but you know what I'm saying.
You see where they're coming from in putting that in the movie, at least.
I think terrible characters are allowed to be terrible, you know?
There you go, yeah.
Anyways, keep going.
But then Garrett shows back up his friend, who they got kicked out of the house earlier, and gives them all a nice scare. And then there's more spooky shit that happens, like someone throws a brick through an upstairs window, I guess.
Yeah. And it's revealed later that like they had set up a catapult to do that automatically. Yeah,
we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves there. Into the spoiler territory. So yeah, there's a brick gets thrown through the window. It has "You leave, you die" carved into it. Ooh. Garrett runs outside and gets shot, which once it's revealed later that this is Garrett and Luke doing this entire thing, you're just like, how did a 12-year-old get some fucking squibs?
Well, can we? Do you want us to explain that to you since you didn't see that part of the film?
Go ahead. Yeah,
she leaves the house and she trips over the same thing that he tripped over, and she realizes like they set up a paintball gun that will like splatter red paint everywhere.
There's a trip wire out there. Yeah, and they trip on it, and it shoots a paintball gun.
So yeah, Garrett runs outside, gets shot, and falls over. They run upstairs and hide in the attic as an intruder comes into the house with a shotgun and a flashlight and starts poking around with a ski mask.
That was the central thing. Well, sort of.
Yeah, they start poking around the room. They go up in the attic. She nearly falls out of the attic and dies because
Spider.
Because Spider and reason.
And they go hide in his closet, and she realizes, wait, I know that ski mask. She realizes that the intruder is in fact Garrett, and the entire thing has been set up by Luke to scare her into letting him touch a boob, basically.
I'm sorry, but that dog won't hunt. It is a black generic ski mask. Everybody in the world, if they own a ski mask, owns that ski mask.
It's like a hunter green ski mask with a weird fucking like top knot tied to a side.
It's got a bump on it, but I don't think that was in the photo of them going skiing, was it?
I didn't catch that. I don't know.
It looked like there was very specifically some goofy shit tied to the top of it, and that's what she recognized.
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. I thought it was just a black ski mask. Okay, never mind.
Honestly, I just took it as like she's known these kids for a long time. She probably would recognize it. Okay, fine, whatever. Let's move on.
Yeah.
And
like,
at
she
this
says
point,
I'll take her word for it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, at this point, it's revealed that Luke is completely the brains of the operation. Garrett was just like, yeah, sure, I'll help you fuck your babysitter.
So weird. So
because then she starts going downstairs to call the cops. At this point, Luke has thrown her phone into the fish tank, on accident.
Oh,
and all this shit.
Whoops,
and
by the way, he fucking Sherlock's that. You didn't see this part of the film. That is a burner phone that he throws into the fish tank and has her phone secreted away so he can send text messages and call on her behalf.
Yeah, all the things you're telling me, they don't make the movie better though. They make the movie worse.
I'm not telling you to say that it's better.
Like,
I'm just giving you the context that you need here.
Like you're telling me all of this, and it's just like, oh well, it's little Hannibal Lecter. How fucking sweet. Like I already didn't care for this character when he was an incompetent, stupid 12-year-old kid. Now I don't care for him even more when he's like an evil genius, stupid 12-year-old kid.
And that's why you cheer for his downfall, because he's the worst.
But it doesn't happen though either, and that it's just kind of completely dissatisfying as well, which we've done before.
Also, to make matters even worse, they pull a fucking Inception and they don't even give you a satisfying ending as to which way it ends. Because it's the laziest thing to do in filmmaking.
Right, and I kind of wish I hadn't told Brad about that at all either.
And I wish I hadn't fucking seen that part, because it would have been so much better if Amanda had won at the end because she deserves to win, and that little shit deserves to get everything that's coming to him.
Here's how the movie should have ended.
Okay, all right. Am I allowed to say this? I wish the 12-year-old had died at the end.
I was about to say, here's how the movie should have ended, from what I know of it, because I've read a summary of it. I've not watched all of it. I don't care to watch all of it. I'm going to throw it out there. I don't fucking care to watch the rest of this movie. Fuck this movie. It should have ended with the kid, like, basically being startled by the spider and falling down the stairs, breaking his neck and dying. That's how the movie should have ended.
I don't care how he dies. He should have died.
Because let me tell you the one good thing about The Good Son is that Macaulay Culkin falls off a fucking cliff.
Yes. Okay. But instead, the movie ends not with him dying, but with him like perfectly fine and not a hair out of place on his head. Like not a single fucking thing happens to him in the course of this film. Like he doesn't get a nick on his finger. He doesn't get like knocked over. He doesn't get punched in the face. Nothing happens to this kid.
And it's not just that he needs the comeuppance. It's that his character is so fucking too clever by half that it's just annoying.
Yeah,
I need that comeuppance, and for one thing, the ending where to give you the rest of the context, there is a scene after the initial big name credits where he says, I'm worried about Amanda. I want to go see her at the hospital. We're suggesting that he's going to go like strangle or kill Amanda. Go finish the job.
I'll just to contradict the filmmakers here. It's like, nah, you're not family, dog. You're not getting in that fucking room.
Well, yeah, there's that, but also it's lazy for one thing, but it's like, okay, what if this is huge? We got to set it up for a sequel, you know?
Yeah,
he has to stay unscathed. He has to stay alive.
It's some like Troy Duffy ass levels of like, we're gonna be big stars after this, right?
I don't know.
Not to mention the fact that like she definitely told the cops what happened before she got to the hospital. Like, come on.
Yes, yeah. So there's that. Like the best part of the movie is where Amanda's getting carted into the ambulance and she flips him off. It's very good, and it should have ended just like that. Because there's enough evidence to get that kid. There's footprints outside of the window, etc., etc.
His fingerprints are everywhere.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't get that satisfaction.
What we do get, though, is a scene of him dancing through the house to a Ramones song as he like plants evidence around the crime scene of the house. Which infuriates me because like they take great pains to show him like dancing to this music while he's doing it, but they never show you his feet. Like they shoot him from the waist up, so you know he's dancing, but you can't see what the hell he's doing. Either he doesn't know how to dance and he's just like moving like an idiot, or they don't know how to shoot dancing. Which, considering the film they made, I believe either one.
That scene bothered me because I didn't want to see him get away with it.
Yeah, and he's just like gleefully getting away with it.
Yeah. So
Is it bad that I want a child to die in film? Because I really want... I can't stress this enough. I wanted this.
Well, look, this isn't... Like I said, this isn't a child character. This is little Hannibal Lecter.
I know.
The film gives you every possible reason to want this character to die. So I think it's okay, Brad.
So let's kind of get to where the big twist comes in. Because like I just said, it's the babysitter Ashley, right?
Yes.
Yeah,
figures out what's going on, that all of this is entirely a ruse that Luke has masterminded and dragged Garrett into to get her scared so he can save the day and then touch a boob, basically. Mm-hmm, and then she starts walking down the stairs, and then he just grabs the gun he got from like his dad's safe, I guess, and just clocks her and knocks her down the fucking stairs. And at this point,
wait, does he pistol whip her? I thought he just slapped her.
No, he pistol whipped her.
That makes more sense because she goes flying down the stairs.
Yeah, and at that point you realize, this plan has kind of gone awry from even what Garrett knew was going on. Which, because of all of this later on with planting the evidence and all of this shit, like it's one of those things where he's planned like 7 twists ahead, and it's just like, not only do people not think like that, but a 12-year-old wouldn't think like that. Fuck off, movie.
It gets a little Sherlock at that point where it's like, oh, look at me, I'm so smart, with the burner phone and all that shit.
Yeah.
Where it's like, you didn't fucking plan for this, you idiot. You didn't plan for a hostage situation. Like, any 12-year-old would be losing their mind. And this is where this movie, although I somewhat enjoyed it lost me a little bit there. It's like, yeah, you're not...
Yeah, the part, for reference, the part where I stopped giving a fuck was when Ricky showed up and couldn't beat up a 12-year-old.
You know, that's totally fair.
Or there are several many unbelievable moments in this one, and for me it's when Amanda causes the chair to fall over that she's strapped to, and that what's his face, the one who looks like one of our friends, the stoner kid comes out and he's like, I killed the rat, I got the rat, and the guy is like literally 6 inches from seeing Amanda, and he like stops him in the fucking doorway between the living room and the kitchen and is like, I found the rat, I got the rat, and he doesn't investigate further.
You know, like the line that I crossed where I was like, okay, this is like no children. These are not children. These are like fucking tiny little sociopaths. The scene, like they've just tied Ashley up, and she wakes up and she's trying to explain to them like, this is wrong. What you're doing is wrong. And then Garrett says, so is political corruption in West Africa. Like, fuck you, kid.
I fucking hate that goddamn Darfur War orphan shit so much on that note.
And then he has the gall to turn to his friend and say, I still need help writing that paper. Like, no 6th grader I've ever met in my entire life has written a paper about political corruption in West Africa. Not even a fucking Montessori school kid. Like, get out of my face with that.
Okay, you're turning the tide. You're convincing me. I love it. I'm into it.
It's at that point in the film where like Luke starts or continues to like try to force himself onto Ashley, even though she's like under, she's under duress, obviously, but like tied up and whatnot. And
that's another thing that kind of fails for me at this movie, because you don't really get the idea that this kid's some little like sadist doing this just for the thrill of, basically puppet mastering human lives. He's just trying to get his little tiny hairless dick wet, basically.
He's a rapey little 12-year-old kid. It's the worst.
Right, and you get the sense that like even he doesn't know what he's gonna do if he gets what he wants, Yeah,
trying to reconcile the fact that like this is just some dumb kid who doesn't know what boobs feel like, with the fact that he's little Hannibal Lecter. Trying to reconcile those two is impossible. He either has to be one or the other. He either has to be a stupid little kid who's just trying to get some fucking action, and he gets outsmarted, or he is a criminal mastermind and he's doing this all just because he's basically fucking Eurus Holmes, pretty much.
Right, and if he's a criminal mastermind, like he needs to have some ulterior motive than to touch a boob, because
it's really trying to have its cake and eat it too. Should we Santa's Workshop this really quick? How much better would this movie be if it was like kind of a Fargo-esque comedy of errors and then the kid gets capped in the end? It would have been a lot better, I think.
Okay, one of the only things that makes the ending of No Country for Old Men satisfying to me, and I love the ending of No Country for Old Men, is when Anton Chigurh gets hit by a fucking car out of nowhere and breaks his goddamn arm. It makes no sense, but that's what makes it so good, because it's just
like the randomness of the universe.
When the fucking chaotic bullshit of the world falls upon the guy who already is the embodiment of the chaotic bullshit of the universe. When even the guy whose entire shtick is I'm just a force of nature gets fucking force of nature. That's amazing.
Right. I love it. It's very good. I need to watch that movie again. It's been too long.
But nothing like that happens in this movie.
No. Not even like by accident. Like the kid doesn't trip. Like I said, the kid, like nothing happens to this kid at all.
And it's very dissatisfying. I know that's greedy of me to expect some karmic retribution in a movie, but
this is
still.
Why I'm talking about Haneke with Funny Games. Just because like you've made the movie in the way you want to make it doesn't mean like you've succeeded in making a good thing. Like they were going for this whole thing of like they were trying to make it dissatisfying because that was their point, and it's like, well, you've succeeded, but you basically succeeded in shitting your pants. Like congratulations, buddy.
Right, like I mean, at least with Funny Games, it's supposed to be like a commentary on why people enjoy watching this kind of movie,
and especially when the remote control comes into play, it's obvious that the movie is just actively fucking with you.
Yes. But I mean,
this movie doesn't go that far. It doesn't take that. It doesn't take that final step of just the movie is fucking with you.
Right, but here at least it just goes to the length of like, what if everything bad happened and nothing good ever happened?
What if good things happen to bad people and bad things happen to ostensibly good or somewhat neutral people?
Yeah, and at this point, I'm just like, hey, buddy, it's fucking 2018. Look out the goddamn window.
What if rich entitled white males got everything they wanted?
Yeah.
What if, Brad? What if, Brad?
What if, Brad?
Let me be clear that was not the part that I enjoyed about this movie.
Brad, meet the underside of this bus.
Thanks, guys. No. Man.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. If anything, you've dissuaded me on liking this movie at all. But
well, I have one. I have one last place I want to go before we wrap things up. So, Brad, continue.
Let me be clear that this was not wish fulfillment for me. I wanted that kid to die.
Right.
He's the worst. Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. This movie goes to all of these efforts to. That's kind of like one of the general criticisms of The Last Jedi is it goes to all these efforts to subvert expectations that it kind of forgets to do much of anything else. And you're just kind of left unsatisfied by a lot of things in it. Especially with this movie. It's unsatisfying because all it's done is be like, oh, I didn't expect that to happen. And it's not a good reaction. It's just kind of like, oh, okay. It's kind of like if a bus hits a character halfway through, you're just kind of like, oh, well, that sure happened.
Let me be clear that I can never run for public office because now there is a clip of me saying I wanted this kid to die, which can be completely taken out of context. But
let's be clear, Mr. Bradford wanted this fictional character to die. The fact that his age is still considerably short is immaterial.
Yeah.
So I guess let me sort of shift gears here and let's talk about something else. I want to talk about home aloneing.
Yeah.
Because that is a prop point in this movie too. The two 12-year-olds argue about whether the paint can scene in Home Alone would actually kill somebody.
Which has already been established in 2016 at this point, and I believe it was it Mythbusters or somebody else did it.
I think like the film is directly citing that in.
Well, they should have seen the fucking video, and they should have already settled it instead of fucking
they saw
killing.
The video, and the kid was like, "I can do one better," because they actually Home Alone somebody at the end of this film, near the end of this film.
Yeah, let's run through the post falling down the stairs shit in the movie real quick because I don't know all of it myself. So,
Joe, you want to take this while I get another drink?
Okay, so the broad strokes of it is like once she falls down the stairs, she wakes up and she's tied to a chair, and the next thing that happens is that Luke, he calls Ricky over to the house, and Ricky comes over.
At first, there's some. I remember at first there's some weird rapey shit involving Truth or Dare, though.
No kidding. He fucking sexually assaults her.
Yeah, they spend like a good 10 fucking minutes of this movie that I skipped over.
I'm taking leaps and bounds to get us where we need to go, so I'm skipping some stuff. Okay.
I do think it is just important to note that like the kid being a little rapist is not just a thing at the start of the movie. It is an important theme throughout.
Oh, absolutely. Up to and including like bringing her ex-boyfriend over and then like knocking him out and tying him to a chair and then basically forcing them to air their dirty laundry together, which they really sort of skirt the line of like they don't actually get into it, but he kind of deduces that these two haven't even, gotten into bed together yet.
There is a really fucked up moment where he's about to make them fuck.
Yeah, he asked them to have sex at gunpoint.
I really started getting very uncomfortable at that point, and I don't know if it would be. You guys can kind of determine this, but it's not great.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, I'm just trying to decide. It'd be super fucked up if it actually happened, but it's fucked up regardless.
I'm pretty sure it didn't happen because I mean,
no, it doesn't happen. He's like, no, I'm not gonna do. He's having his little power fantasy. He's like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not a pervert. And it's like,
but
okay.
Yeah, right, dude. Yeah, right, kid. You're totally not. But then he decides that he wants to test out this Home Alone theory. Which, of course, going back to Home Alone, the famous scene where Kevin McAllister throws down 2 paint cans from the top banister that swings down and hits Harry and Marv in the face. He wants to try this on Ricky. And so they
do that.
They definitely do that. And
it definitely happens, and he definitely dies.
His face explodes, apparently, which we don't actually get to see.
Well, thank God for that, at least.
But
I don't know. I'm not a blood and guts guy.
I'm not either. But like, I
I
was kind of expecting this to be the kind of film where you would see some kind of gross like prop head that was like halfway exploded. But we don't see that. We just kind of see a paint can in front of a guy's face, and then ketchup and mustard going. It's almost literally ketchup and mustard that's like running down his shoes.
He makes a quip about it later. He's like, "You look like a fucking hot dog." It's
yeah, but it makes me wonder though. In Home Alone, were the paint cans full or were they empty? Because the way Kevin throws them, it makes it seem like they're empty, especially the way they bounce off of their heads. You know,
if their paint cans stored at a house, they're about a third full. It's just enough that you can't justify throwing the damn thing away yet, or disposing of it properly, I guess. But no one keeps fucking full paint cans around.
Right.
Am I literally the only person that takes stuff to like e-waste and proper chem disposal places?
That's what I have a toilet for.
Well,
thank you, J5.
Okay.
Good one. I can just imagine you like flushing tiny circuit boards down a toilet. No, I'm just kidding.
just flushing old batteries down the toilet.
Although let's call a spade a spade. 90% of the time that shit is getting shipped to China and it's getting disassembled by little kids who get lead poisoning, which is a terrible thing that shouldn't happen.
So realistically, you might be better off flushing it down a toilet.
At least you're poisoning locally rather than globally, right?
Buy local and poison global.
Oh, our world is a hellscape. All right.
World is a fuck.
This trash fire Earth. Okay. So no, like they actually go through with the Home Aloneing trick, and I feel like Luke intentionally used a full paint can because why else would he bother?
Of course he does, because he's a little shit. He's the worst. He's tiny Dennis Reynolds. Like, he even has the look.
He does.
If you've watched enough Always Sunny, like, it is 100% on point. This is tiny Dennis Reynolds gone rogue.
Right, like this is a plan that like Charlie probably came up with, and Dennis was like, "Yeah,
no. This is
Brad.
All right,
let me have
I
this.
will indulge you. Have it.
This is like a plan that Charlie would like halfway come up with, and then Dennis would pick up on it and go, "Yeah, let's do that."
Yeah, I think Charlie is the unwitting dipshit that gets roped into it.
Fair enough.
But this is absolutely like a Dennis plan, conniving, manipulative. Have you seen the episode where Dennis outlines the Dennis system?
No.
Okay, well, watch that and come back and tell me that this is not Dennis Reynolds all over. Or have you seen the clip where Dennis is trying to make a business deal and goes into a locker room and there's an underage boy there, and he thinks that this person wants him to fuck the little boy, and he's like, "All right, let's do this." Like, Always Sunny goes places,
or just even the whole implications speech.
Yeah, the implication one where he's like, they're out on a boat because implications. We can put I'll link to both of those. You can put both of them in the show notes.
I want it noted for the record, I was still just talking about the paint can thing.
I know.
The entire like rest of Luke's plan, sure, that's an Always Sunny plan, like 9, to the
okay.
10.
All right,
but, like
the
paint cans,
paint
like
can
come
thing.
on.
All right.
Dipshit paint can theory, come on. Welcome to my new hit CBS sitcom, The Dipshit Paint Can Theory.
It was all about a paint can.
I got blocked on Twitter by one of the executive producers of The Big Bang Theory.
Good on you, man.
Can I
You're
ask
living
how?
your best life. Yeah, please.
He was yelling about Susan Sarandon, I think, and so I responded to him and said, "Let he who did not make the shittiest sitcom ever cast the first stone."
I love it.
So yeah, I guess, is there anything else we have to say about Better Watch Out?
They kill the boyfriend, and then he invites
the ex
over, who we've been set up as, it's the Psycho X or whatever.
Right.
And
let me say this: it's a special movie that gets me cheering for the Guido, like trashy Guido boyfriend to like go and fuck up a little kid.
Right, like so many movies would have that guy be like the villain, and then in this one you just want to see him punch a kid's face out.
Oh, I want him to be the hero so bad.
That would have been a fun subversion of expectations, but we didn't get that one.
No, and it's dissatisfying.
Yeah, and I think that's the important thing. Like I've been saying, like the whole thing about like you've succeeded at shitting your pants. Yeah, this movie has like gone all these different directions, and none of them are fucking satisfying. And just because that they have been successful at going in all these different directions, doesn't make it good because it wasn't satisfying. And that's an important thing to say. Just because you've competently executed what you're trying to do doesn't mean that you deserve fucking praise for it.
And not only that, it's dissatisfying in its dissatisfaction. Like, at least some movies where there are like, it's a cruel, cold universe and nothing ever makes sense. It doesn't even give you that, really.
If that was the case with this movie, like I said, the kid would fall down the stairs and die at the end.
Right.
Because what happens at the end is he basically sets up the ex-boyfriend to look like it's a murder-suicide.
Right.
And
everybody has killed everybody except for him, basically.
He kills the ex-boyfriend. Like, he makes the guy like write out a letter to her so that he can use that as evidence. Like, oh yeah, the ex-boyfriend showed up and he's
and then as a suicide note, and then he hangs.
Who kills Garrett? Because Garrett gets killed too.
He fucking shotguns Garrett twice after Garrett tries to, in the one sort of like turnaround moment, Garrett's trying to free Amanda.
Ashley.
Yeah, like it's obvious that Garrett is along for the ride, but Garrett is definitely not.
Garrett
just wanted to smoke weed and take oxy and help his friend get laid, and was not signing up for murder. Basically,
yeah. Garrett's like involvement, I guess is the wrong word, but Garrett's knowledge of the plan ended at when he took the fucking ski mask off. Basically, yeah.
Pretty much, yes.
So yeah, he shotguns Garrett once, and he goes flying across the room, and then he shotguns him again, like when he's basically screaming for help, and then it's either right before that is when like he actually hangs the ex-boyfriend, and then uses a riding lawnmower to like hoist him up on a tree to hang him, which is clever.
Can you make the Home Improvement Tim Allen noise, because it's technically a power tool.
More power.
That's Scooby Doo.
No.
That was Scooby Doo.
Yeah, that's the one I'm looking for. I'm looking for the Tim Allen question grunt.
Yeah, the question grunt, not the more power grunt.
Yes, correct.
The Tim Allen language textbook is 2 pages long.
Man, fuck Tim Allen. He's the worst.
He is the worst. And so
the way it ends is, he sets it up to look like a murder-suicide. She survives because she managed to get duct tape on where he fucking stabbed her because she was tied up with duct tape.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, you hear one of the drivers mention it, that she was lucky that she thought to put the duct tape on the wound or whatever.
Oh, weird. So, I know this is an Australian production, right? Are all the actors Australian?
I don't know. I know the main girl, Ashley, is.
Because at certain moments in scenes of screaming or duress, they do break slightly back into Australian accents.
Well, I think all of the kids are Australian at the very least.
Yeah, all 3 of the main kids are Australian. Ashley and Garrett, actually, if you've seen the M. Night Shyamalan movie, The Visit, they play brother and sister in that movie. Yeah.
Are they Yanks?
They play Yanks in the movie.
Oh, okay.
You're right. That hadn't even really occurred to me. But I did notice when one of the characters started screaming, their accent really came through. So yeah, you got that one.
Yeah. That broke kayfabe a little bit.
just a touch. So yeah,
just a little bit.
Final thoughts about Better Watch Out before we go to the crankometer.
Let me say that you have both convinced me to downgrade my crankometer rating significantly. So thank you for that.
Yeah, this is the service that we provide. We bring the harsh light of day onto movies that you actually enjoy.
Well, let's not say actually.
Okay. Accidentally enjoy?
Again, I think most of my enjoyment out of this came from the fact that I was expecting it to be kind of a rote slasher film, and it wasn't that.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah.
If you look in a toilet and are expecting pee and you end up with poop, is that really, at the end of the day, how much difference does that make? No. We'll get to the crankometer.
Right. Yeah, it's... I don't know. I was okay with it. So let's just go ahead and jump straight to the crankometer, because there's one thing we have to discuss. We still haven't discussed. So our crankometer is our XY axis, where we rate these movies based on how Christmassy they are versus how good they are. Gentlemen, we haven't talked at all about how Christmassy this film is.
I wonder why.
Because it's not very, but let me just say, as an aside, it really needed about 500% more jump scares with that Santa with his finger up, because that was really good. I loved that.
Santa is like one of the best character in the movie. Let's be fair.
Like going back to, I think is it Brad, your theory that like because 1/12 of the year is Christmas time, theoretically only 1/12 of the year is Christmas time, the month of December.
Yes.
Therefore, 1/12 of all movies should take place at Christmas.
Well, I mean, if you think about it, it's a little more than that, because it would be basically Thanksgiving to New Year's, being generous. But yeah, it's 1 out of every 12 movies should at least take place during Christmas, assuming that significant events worthy of filmmaking occur all year round.
Yeah, and this movie, as far as I know, any Christmassiness of it is just uploaded at the very front, and the only point of it, as far as I can tell, the only point of the Christmassiness, as far as I can tell, is just to be some like edgelord fucking contrast to what the rest is going on. Like, oh, it's all this crazy fucked up shit at Christmas time. And it's just
it's absolutely that.
I think
it
it's
is a marketing
completely
angle
done just so we can have that one shot of Ashley tied to the chair and then wrapped in Christmas lights that, for whatever reason, have been turned on.
Honestly, I mean, I wouldn't be watching this movie if it wasn't for this podcast, but I think it would have almost been more respectable if it had done this at any other time of the year and just been a normal stock-ass thing, because it would be, I don't know.
Yeah, it really feels like a gimmick that they tacked onto this film to kind of like, to goose the numbers and get idiots like us interested in watching it.
Yeah.
Let's call it what it is. It's trying to Die Hard.
It's trying to Home Alone. Come on.
It's trying to Home Alone, and it's trying to Die Hard, and it is... we haven't come up with a phrase for this, but this is absolutely edgelord movies trying to take place during Christmas so that they can get the marketing angle, where it's like, oh, this is the next Die Hard. This is a Christmas movie. We're renting this, you know?
Yeah. And they forget the part where Die Hard is good.
Well, yeah, that too. But also, I guess almost any movie that we watch during Home for the Horror-Days is already playing up that angle.
Right.
Like, at least Silent Night for Deadly Night actually has something to do with fucking Christmas in it.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
but
true.
That's a special case, I believe.
Like Silent Night, Deadly Night, and Krampus, and like Nightmare Before Christmas, like they kind of have a reason to be set at around the holidays. This absolutely does not.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give this a solid -4, baby.
I'll agree with -4 because just to take it out of Santa's workshop, have fucking Garrett dressed like a goddamn creepy Santa when he's stalking around the house. There you go.
Yeah, that would have been awesome.
That
would have been better. That would have been way better.
Absolutely. I 100% agree. This movie did not need to be set at Christmas, but if they're going to, like, since you're going to set it at Christmas, why not use it? And they easily could have, and they straight up just said,
the phrase shit or get off the pot comes to mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Either make it a fucking Christmas movie or don't.
Oh, so many missed opportunities for that Santa jump scare. I wish it was every, 15 fucking minutes. It would have been so good. So, I think I was the only one that watched the trailer. They pulled The Room and tried to also play this off as a comedy. I'm dead serious. Did you guys not watch the trailer?
No.
Go and watch it after this.
I absolutely did.
It said, a Christmas horror, thriller, black comedy. Because it basically, if you check all of the boxes, you can't be wrong, right?
Right, exactly. Hey, remember that hilarious joke from that movie Better Watch Out? Because I sure as hell don't.
But anyways, I don't know. Yeah, shit or get off the pot is right. Play it up as a comedy of errors, and then just play with the tropes. Have her close a fucking bathroom mirror and have the Santa be on top of the toilet. Just that would have been great.
Even if they had just played it for the rule of threes, you play it once, all right, great. Play it second, play it 2 times. You have to play it out for a third if you're really gonna goose that punchline. But they didn't do it. They just did it twice and then they dumped it on the side of the yard.
it's a waste.
It's a huge waste, and
it would have been a great running gag, and actually would have turned it into somewhat of a comedy, but they didn't.
Right, and so yeah, I'm gonna. So you said -4?
Yeah,
I want to be generous.
Any time of the year, Joe. There's nothing in this plot that relates to Christmas.
And as little as the crankometer matters, yeah, -4.
So let me lay this out.
You know what?
For
Fair
you.
enough. -4. I don't care that much. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate for like the little part that I have to play here.
Is Devil's Advocate a Christmas movie? Can we watch that?
Sure, why not?
I know that we saved -5 for using Christmas to put it up on a pedestal or preach like you did with Christmas shoes.
You know what, honestly, yeah, no, it deserves -4 because it's using Christmas it's trying to use Christmas to get something it didn't deserve. It's a marketing angle.
Yeah. Yes, it's a marketing angle, and that's why I think it deserves negative Christmas points.
You've convinced me. I'm good with a -4.
Which is weird because I feel like it's almost as bad as using it to moralize, but not quite as bad to use it for commercial reasons.
I guess what I'm going to say is like I'm going to give it that 1 point so that we don't have to make it a -5 by simply saying that like I like the fact that the DVD has a wreath made of knives on it.
It's fair, and I like that's not to say that there isn't valid reason to use a Christmas as a framing for like aesthetic reasons like Shane Black does, but I feel like it barely touches on that really.
Yeah,
other
like,
than the
with a film
angle.
like this, like if you're going to do it, why not go all out? Why even waste the energy to put a Santa Claus on the roof?
Here's what I'll say about Shane Black: Lethal Weapon is not called like Santa's Lethal Weapon or something. It uses it only as window dressing, and honestly, I think maybe Lethal Weapon even has more to do with Christmas than this fucking movie does.
Yeah, it feels very cynical, the use of Christmas.
Yeah, it does feel cynical. Yeah, you're right. So yeah, I guess -4 for our x-axis. So y-axis, how good is this film? Boy, I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this.
So I was originally going to go for like a 3, but I've been downgraded to maybe a 1, which is not as bad as I expected it to be. I don't know. I was just really expecting a rote slasher, and I didn't. I know I shouldn't give it credit for that, but that's where I am. I don't know.
Thinking back on it, like it's watchable. Like it's not actually like actively terrible. It's just the choices that it makes I really kind of disagree with. So
there are very gross worldviews involved, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, it is competently constructed, but that's literally the only thing you can say for it.
Right, but then are most movies out there these days,
Yeah, that's true.
This does nothing to distinguish itself aside from a couple of decent scares and 1 or 2 clever little turns. But for a 90-minute film that just lets its villain have everything, it's a real downer.
That's the most dissatisfying part. If this kid had gotten his comeuppance, it would have been a lot better. But I want to hear what Johnny 5 thinks. What do you rate it, John?
I didn't fucking finish it. It gets a -5. If I can't fucking finish it, that means it sucks. It gets a -5.
All right, Joe.
So from 1 to -5, I guess I'm going to have to split the difference here and say I'm going to give it a -1. Which I realize
that's not how average works.
So would that bring it down to like a -2 then, or
it would bring it down to a -2, but I didn't dislike it that much. I certainly disliked it, but I'm very conflicted here, dudes.
It's gross, but it's watchable,
Yeah, and as much of it makes me uncomfortable,
I would argue with
makes
that.
me angry.
I know you would argue with that, but I was expecting. I don't know. I know that I shouldn't measure it on that metric.
Your comment of it being watchable.
I don't know. I was ultimately. I know this is going to maybe be a controversial statement, but I was entertained.
I mean, I was with this film for a good. Honestly, the film lost me when it turned out the kid was the villain. Like, as soon as he became the villain, I lost all sympathy for it. And it kind of yeah.
I don't know that sympathy was it, but I don't know. I was rooting for him to die, and I guess that's why I was entertained. I wanted to see this kid get his comeuppance, and it denied me that, and that's what I fault it for most of all.
That's fair. I think that's fair.
Yeah, and I would fault it on that because that's just bad writing. That's bad filmmaking.
Yeah.
And again, just to keep harping on this point, just because you can subvert expectations like that and do all this dumb shit doesn't mean you fucking should.
Yeah, and I know I know it came out in 2016, but newsflash, people want some sort of karmic retribution in their movies.
Yeah, like as much as I shit on Krampus, at least Krampus you could kind of forgive it because it was some horrible otherworldly force doing all this crazy shit. This is a fucking 12-year-old.
Yeah.
That's really what it is.
It's 2018. I want to see bad things happen to bad people because newsflash, what's going on in the world? Bad things aren't happening to bad people.
Because it's not like this is a movie that's going to pull punches about killing 12-year-olds because it fucking kills a 12-year-old.
Because it fucking does.
Yes. Yeah.
So yeah, I'm okay.
It comes off as very cynical because they want to set it up for a sequel, which it doesn't deserve. I'll go down to a 0. Actually,
I'm gonna stick to my guns and say a -1 here because I
say -5.
All right, so that brings us.
I'm gonna say -3 is probably the best average.
Okay,
sure. If
I'm amenable to that on the whole.
So a -4, -3 is that where we landed?
Yeah.
Okay. That's better. Watch out, everybody.
Yeah, and I'll just say overall, I would not recommend watching it. It'll piss you off more than anything else.
Would this film have been better if the real Santa Claus had come down the chimney at the end and given and like?
Oh, holy shit! It would have been so much better if the real Santa showed up.
Cap that kid at the end.
No, if he just like gave the kid coal for being naughty on Christmas, but like instead of giving it to him, he just puts it in a sock and hits him over the head with it.
Oh. It would have been great. I would have given it like a 4 or a 5.
Yes. Double points Santa if it was the Kurt Russell Santa Claus from Christmas Chronicles. He's just dunking on the kid mercilessly.
Oh, it would have been so good. And then he just like shoves him in a sack and takes him home with him. It would have been so
to
good.
Feed him to the elves.
Because also, then the movie would have a fucking reason to be set at Christmas.
There you go.
And then he would have, even better, he uses Christmas magic to revive all of the innocents. It would have been great.
I'm still gonna hammer it home though. The kid needs to be eaten by elves. That's it. We've done it. Like Santa's Workshop. That's how you make this movie better.
We saved the day again.
Well, I think that's going to be where we wrap things up tonight. So if you have any questions or comments about this episode, like whether or not you should watch this film, well, listen to the episode. But you can get us a couple different ways. We are on Twitter at Christmas Creeps. Email us at xmascreeps@gmail.com. Go to facebook.com/Christmas Creeps. We're on YouTube. We're on Stitcher. We're on I almost said eBay. We're on
Harmony.
I'm on eBay. I'm trying to sell some of my wife's dresses. Get at me.
I'm on farmersonly.com. I'm on
We're on Christian Mingle.
I'm on Discord right now talking to John and Brad. Come find us. You can't do that. That's not the way Discord works. But yeah, we're on all the hip popular podcast apps.
Is that a real thing?
Yes,
John?
Sadly.
We're on J-Swipe. All right.
We're on J-Store.
We're pretty much every.
Hit us up. Look for us on LexisNexis.
Pay $15 for our academic article.
Christmas Creeps is available at your local library. On the internet.
We should try to submit this to an academic journal.
I would have to write like a review for something. Come back again in a couple of weeks and we will continue our annual journey through Home for the HorrorDays. And hey, Christmas is right around the corner and we've got some fun stuff lined up. So stay tuned for that.
I want to watch Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2.
Okay. We may have to track that down for next time.
I think we can maybe arrange that.
We could probably arrange that. So for Christmas Creeps, I am Joseph Wade.
I am Johnny 5, the human robot, surrounded by cats right now.
Garbage Day.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Happy Christmas. Happy Christmas.